The New York Giants last year. Great story. Playoff team. Won a playoff game. Little underdog story last year. Always go to the first-year head coach as Brian Daboll turned around Daniel Jones anyway for 1 year. They're 65-1 to win the Super Bowl at DraftKings, 25-1 to win the NFC. To win their division, they are plus 850. Their win total, Paulie, is 7.5, now juiced at minus 120 to the under.
That's telling.
And yes, division wins 2.5. Are they going to win 3 games in their division? If you think so, it's minus 135 to the over. They're plus 160 to make the playoffs this year in a soft NFC. So they bounce back to the pack. I know a lot of people who have bet that number under, and they've also bet the alternate number under this year, 6.5.
Little issues for Danny Dimes. He's turning it over in the joint practices and scrimmages with the Lions. Food for thought. I'm not a fan of his. I can't believe they gave him all that money. Everyone talks about the Vikings and rips on them last year, rightfully so. Well, again, that was the great thing about that playoff game. It was the Fugazi Bowl. I mean, the other thing was overlooked what the Giants were able to do. The Giants started 6-1. They finished the season 9-7-1, but they were exposed when they played good teams. They lost 38-7 in the playoffs to Philly. Also at home, they got crushed by the Eagles as well and gave up almost 50 points. They beat Baltimore and Jacksonville. Those were their good wins. They were down 10 with 6 minutes left against Baltimore and won. Then they were losing in the fourth quarter against Jacksonville and got a goal line stand to hang on and win.
And it was a miracle win in week 1 against the Titans.
Yes, it
was.
The
Titans blew the game.
That one, too. So everything went their way, and they still went 9-7-1. You also had that interception late when they played Washington. And hung on to win. So, again, when they played good teams, they got exposed. They have lost 6 in a row to the Cowboys when Dak has been the starting quarterback. That's a good game week 1 and could be a very important game to let you know where these two teams are at on Sunday night. I love the acquisition of Waller if he stays healthy. And he looks great in camp. But guy gets hurt all the time. You know, I would say average at best defense. And I'm concerned about the wide receivers as well. But Daboll, a very good coach. And we saw that last year. But I think they're telling you all you need to know with this 7.5. And I'm with you, again, going back to this exacta, which is offered at DraftKings in the exact order and the exact finish, that it's, to me, it's Philly, Dallas, Dallas, Philly. But, you know, I love the Eagles as we talked about. But this is, I don't think the Giants make the playoffs.
Yeah, so their SOS is exactly middle of the pack in the NFL. They're playing in 5 primetime games.
Oh, God.
Which is going to happen every single year a New York team plays well. You can just bank on it. Going to be 5 or 6 primetime games. They have 3 straight road games in weeks 9 through 11. And I'm pointing that out because I want to tell you how difficult the first 6 weeks are here. But think about this for a second. 3 straight on the road in weeks 9 for 11.
Well, this is the big one. You were exactly right.
Raiders, Cowboys, Commanders in that stretch. Yeah. But that's going to be after the first 6 games of the schedule. And here's who they play and their opponent's win total on the year. First week against the Cowboys. Giants are at home. They're catching 3. Cowboys win total is 10.5. They played they should win at Arizona in week 2. They're laying 4 right now at DK. The Cardinals win total is only 4.5. After that, they're at San Francisco. The Niners are laying 6. Their win total is 10.5. The following week, they come back home. They're laying 1 to Seattle. Seahawks win total now either 9 or 9.5. After that, they're plus 4.5 at the Dolphins. Miami's win total is 9.5. And then they play on the road at the Bills. They're catching 7. Their win total is 10.5. So, folks, that is 5 out of their first 6 opponents with a win total of at least 9 or 9.5. And 4 of them, 3 of them have win totals of 10.5. Which is just, 1 in 5, I can buy it. I can see it happening.
Well, last year was the outlier. Remember, it was year after year after year. The Giants would start like 1 and 5 or like 2 and 7.
Yeah.
These horrible starts. So, but they got off to the hot start last year. But that's a gauntlet, man. That is tough.
Very difficult. That stretch right there where that Seahawks game, by the way, is at home. But after the Cowboys game, 4 out of the next 5 are on the road, and then 3 straight on the road from weeks 9 through 11. Good luck. Danny Jones is going to have to keep his head above water the entire time. And Daboll appears to be he's a great offensive coordinator, which we know. In year 1, he won Coach of the Year, did a great job as the head man. He appears to be like a super solid coach across the board in the NFL. Is that good enough to propel Jones and elevate him to that point that and is that going to be the same guy now we're going to get from Jones every single year?
No.
I doubt it.
No.
But if I'm wrong, I'll be wrong on it, and then I'll just have to tip my cap even more to Dable.
He runs too much, and they do too much design stuff
for him.
He's going to get his bell rung and concussion time, and he's going to miss some games. Which you got Tyrod behind him, but that's I don't like how he takes off and how many times he scrambles as well. But it's just that division is too good, and I think they're clearly the third best team. Although this division was very good last year, 3 teams made the playoffs, and Washington was 8-1 as we've talked about all week. But I just think that the team you might get, I don't think you get 2 maybe from the South, because if someone, because those schedules are easy, and if Carr has a good year, and I know a lot of people are high on Atlanta, but it's I can't see them making the playoffs. I can't see 9 wins either.
Yeah. So this is I'll use Pro Football Focus again for their overall unit rankings across the board here. Their offensive line rating is 29th out of 32 teams, according to PFF. While they allowed the 3rd most pressures in the league, they've addressed it over the last couple of years. I think their line's going to be better than 29th in the league. I'll just say that. The defensive line ranking they put on him is 9th overall. Dexter Lawrence was awesome last year. He's a beast. Leonard Williams also on the line. Kayvon Thibodeau. I think the D-line is going to have to carry the defense because the linebackers graded out per their film work and per their numbers as the 2nd worst overall graded team in Pro Football Focus in 2022. They improved with some offseason additions, but they still have them ranked 22nd overall in the league. The secondary is ranked 24th overall. So again, the D-line is going to have to be get pressure on the opposing quarterback a lot to help out the back 7. On offense, running backs overall, they're 8th. Barkley, clearly the story here. He was 4th overall in rushing yards a year ago. He's a great weapon. He's going to be playing this year. They never signed him to that extension. The wide receivers are a question mark, Paulie, and a wild card to me again this season with the team. They have them ranked 25th overall, and on special teams, they're 22nd. So again, they're below average. Again, it's only it's based on their metrics, their numbers, whatever. They're below average in almost every single category with every single positional unit that they're going to field every single Sunday. So if Danny Jones cannot be at least as good as he was last year, this team can win 4 or 5, maybe 6 games. I mean, are you going to be surprised if they get swept by the Eagles and the Cowboys?
No.
Neither will I.
Should happen. That's the way it should. I mean, they weren't even on the same. They weren't even close to the Eagles last year. They got their asses kicked in both games. The playoff game was over in the first quarter. Over.
Yep.
That was it. And what happened when the Eagles went to New York? Did whatever they wanted offensively.
Here's a prop that, based on what the NFC East did last year. Here's a prop that I would love to see up at a sports book, and that is how many playoff games will a division win? What's the most amount of games a division will win in the playoffs? This division won 4, right? The AFC West with the winner won 3, but that's because the Chargers lost that game. So would you make the number 3.5, or would you make the number 4.5? Because if you get 3 teams in, and you get 1 team to go to the Super Bowl, if the Eagles would have won the Super Bowl last year, which they should have, they kind of pissed that game away, then that division wins 5. I think it's a pretty creative prop that books could put up, actually.
You're high on Seattle, but it's hard after the big 3 in the NFC. If you want to put Dallas in there, I think you have to.
I do.
They won 12 games and won a playoff game.
Yeah.
But if you go Philly, San Francisco, Dallas in that order, and then who's going to emerge in the NFC?
Well, I think you're probably right with that. Probably 2 from this division. I'd say 2 from the West. I think 1 from the South. But you could get 2 from the South.
Yeah, you never know.
Or you get 2 from the North. That's possible. Where Detroit or Minnesota or Green Bay, they win that division with 10 games. The second place team is 9-7. They get in somehow.
Yeah.
9-8.
Yeah. Chernoff made a great case, though, just about how easy Atlanta's schedule is and how it's set up for him. But then again, you got question marks at the quarterback position.
Yeah, same thing with the Saints, right? Saints have the easiest schedule in football.
Yeah.
So both those teams.
Yeah. But I certainly would take Carr over Ritter. No, not even close.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But, yeah, I agree with you, Paul. I mean, look at that story again from last year.
Let's be real. Last year was a fluke. He's a good coach, but it was a total fluke.
It was a fluke.
They beat no one.
Yep. They're minus 190 for the playoffs. So on the no with that.
Mm-hmm.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.